We're into the top 10 now. This is exciting stuff.
I'm giddy like a schoolgirl with a 64 pack of crayons.
Ooh.
Yes.
I never had that one when I was in
Metaphors.
school.
Oh, it's a simile, actually, using like or as. Anyway.
Yes, the Montreal Canadiens are our number 10 team. A little bit of a step back from last year.
Yes, I would say. I would say so. I think they're definitely. They had to make room for that monstrous contract, PK Subban, which, don't get me wrong, in a league where Matt Niskanen gets $7 million.
You have Subban, who's actually one of the better defensemen.
Offensive defenseman. I think they overpaid him, and I have feelings about PK Subban. He's got a great shot. He's going to put up points for you. But as far as defense goes, I think he's not great on the back end. And that's just, he's not all the time bad, but anyway, I just don't like any contract where it pays one player $11 million. It makes no sense.
It's where the league's going, though. And but again, I don't think you can let a couple $1 million come between you and, honestly, your star player.
I'm just not a fan of locking up somebody for multiple years at $11 million and then it dropping to 10 and then 7 being, I think it's $7 million a year being the lowest that they pay him at any point. But anyway, this team,
it's just to adjust the cap hit. I'm fine with the contract. Yeah. It's what you have to do. You have to pay your best players top dollar. Like, it's not ideal. You would love to pay each player like $4 million and just have this plethora of talent, but it's not the way it works nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, I had this team actually winning the Stanley Cup last year, and they were pretty close. Unfortunately,
if Carey Price doesn't go down, maybe that's a different series with the Rangers.
But Tokarski played very well.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think any Canadian fan can make that excuse. Yeah, yes, I understand Carey Price would have maybe stole a game for you, but in the end, I think Dustin Tokarski stepped right in and played very well.
Carey Price still played in game one before he was hurt and gave up all those goals.
Exactly.
So.
It's a big what if, and we're not about. I mean, I guess we are about what ifs, but last year's what ifs. We're about this year's what ifs.
So the losses, they lost Brian Giunta,
a lot.
Josh Georges,
a lot.
Who else? It's just on my head too. The problem when we do these things, we don't write things down.
Either way, those are the two biggest ones.
Yeah. They got P.A. Parento though. They lost Danny Briere and Thomas Vanek.
That's the other guy thinking of.
Yeah. Right. They traded Briere for Parento.
At least they got something back. I like that move. Parento is going to probably be a third line, maybe fourth line guy, but that's what I don't even, maybe if you're lucky.
That's what he wasn't doing in Colorado.
So exactly. And you know what though? Briere was going to be nothing more than a fourth liner for you. So, love the offense of this team, and I like the young talent that they have, especially in Bournival, Gallagher, and especially Alex Galchenyuk, who was incredible for the U.S. in the World Juniors. But the big question I have with this team is, yes, they have PK Subban, they have Carey Price, they have Pacioretty, Plekanec. Their defense is just, after Subban and Markov, who have been 1 and 2 for how many years, they really
it's kind of
they're old and they're like. Who is it? Bouillon is turning, I think, 39. I have it in front of me because this is a big point I wanted to make. Douglas Murray they brought in, who is getting up there.
He's whatever.
They brought in Tom Gilbert, who I don't think is going to be anything more than a top 6 guy if he even cracks the roster.
Maybe the 7th defenseman.
It's just at that point you've got to say, okay, why didn't we address any of the needs? And they have guys like, they have a young kid in Tenorti. I think that's pronouncing his name correctly. But
don't worry, someone will tell you about it.
Yeah, exactly. But like Mike Weaver and then Nathan Bellew came in, and the Bellew, I think I'm pronouncing it. Forgive me, French people, but he was not NHL ready, as you saw in the series against the Rangers, and that's a need I think they needed to address, and they didn't. Maybe they're banking on the Tenorti or some new younger kid to come in. I don't know, but for what they have and what they played, I think that was their weakness against the Rangers. They couldn't defend the speed against the Rangers, and I think that's how they're going to get killed. Do they make the playoffs? Yes, they're absolutely going to make the playoffs. But the problem is I don't think they showed. The team, they played a banged up Tampa Bay team that didn't have Ben Bishop. Then they played.
Didn't have a full year of.
Then they beat a Boston team that is not exactly the fastest skating team. They're a banging team, and they played right into their favorable.
And then when they walked into the Rangers,
they had no answer. They had no answer for the speed, and I think that's going to be their downfall. I think, and it's a gamble by their GM. I mean, Michel Therrien, a very good coach, but the problem is they are banking on this young talent being something that it might not be ready for. I think it will be. I think Alex Galchenyuk's going to have a breakout year.
Yeah.
And, maybe they bring in Tenardi or somebody else from the AHL team, from the Hamilton Bulldogs, but who knows? I mean, I
think there's a lot of teams around the league. I don't think Montreal is by themselves as more of an upper tier team that's banking on young talent.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. And you
have to do that nowadays.
I think they learned a lesson saying with the Rangers, we got outscated. We need to bring in the youth. And I think that's the right direction to make. But I just think that this team is in our top 10 is like, they're going to make the playoffs, but it's just a matter of how well they do in those playoffs.
And the East last year, as we saw, very, very, very unpredictable.
Yes.
I mean, who saw the Rangers coming out last year? And it really could have been any of the 8 teams that were in the East.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah.
But again, we rank them where we rank them. It's probably not going to matter in 4 months. Just take it as you will. It's a preseason deal. Whatever. They'll make the playoffs. They'll probably get to the second round.
Yeah, no, they're a very good team. I need to see something on their back end, and forgive me, Quebec, if I pronounced any names wrong, because I don't speak French.
As don't I. Number 9 is next. Ooh, 9. We're down to single numbers.
Oh,